So I just saw The Brutalizer and I have a lot of thoughts. Okay, that's a lie. I didn't just see it. I saw it a week ago, but I'm talking about it now. So I will start off by saying that I loved this movie. This movie had a limited release late last year, 2024. It's clearly going for those awards and it's working. It's nominated for Best Picture. So some things to know before going into this movie if you're going to go see it yourself. And I'll say I highly recommend this movie no matter who you are. I feel like this is something people should be watching. So some things to know: it is a period piece. Second is that this movie is 3.5 hours long. I believe it's 3 hours, 33 minutes to be exact, with a 15-minute intermission. And that's something that's either going to bother you or it isn't. You know, a 3.5 hour period piece sounds like the most boring thing ever. And there are a lot of those movies out there and a lot of them are boring. This is not that. If I went into this movie not knowing the length of it, I would guess it was like 2.5 hours, maybe even closer to 2 hours. It's just that entertaining. So like I said before, I'd highly recommend it. I wouldn't let those two facts, prevent you from seeing this movie. So I'm going to first talk non-spoilers and then get into spoilers. So I'll just describe what the setup is. Adrien Brody is a Hungarian Auschwitz survivor who immigrates to America. And the first part of the movie is kind of following Adrien Brody. I don't want to say rags to riches, but rags to having a career and influence and be in a better spot. And that's all I'll say for non-spoilers as far as plot goes, because this movie goes a lot of places. For a 3.5 hour movie, it's pretty fast paced. Like, a lot happens in this movie. It also takes its time though. It takes the time necessary for these developments in the plot, but quite a bit happens. And this movie spans 20 years, I believe, and then more than that, as that's spoilers, I won't get there yet. But this movie takes place over a long period of time. There's just so many changes in Adrien Brody's character and the setting around him, and character dynamics are always changing. There's just always development happening. There's always something to chew on in every scene. The movie's shot fantastically. I had no problems with any technical aspects in the movie. It's all pretty perfect, and I only learned after I saw it that it was a $10 million budget, which is insane, because watching this, I swore it was like, I assumed it was like 70 to like $100 million. It looked that good, and just so many set pieces and locations. And, Adrien Brody is a pretty big star. You got, oh my God, what's his name? Guy Pearce. Yep, that's who I couldn't remember. He's fantastic in this. Okay, I'm trying to look up this movie. I looked up The Brutalizer and I got something from League of Legends, which I've never played. Then I looked it up, The Brutalizer movie, and I get The Brutalizer short 2010. Why can't you show me the fucking movie? What is happening? I clicked on the IMDb page with the poster being The Brutalizer, and it's a 6-minute short. What is happening? Okay, I'm gonna screenshot this. I searched The Brutalizer, and The Brutalist is all that comes up. Like, what? Holy shit! I've been calling this movie The Brutalizer for a week. Oh my God. Oh my, that's so embarrassing. I was gonna call this video Brutalizer, I Hardly Know Her. And now that's out the window because, Jesus Christ. Okay, the movie stars Adrien Brody, Felicity Jones, and Guy Pearce. Felicity Jones did a fantastic job as well. All the performances were great. Like I said, technical aspects, including acting, I had no issues with. Music was great, outstanding visually. Sound design had some standout moments. That was really cool. Okay, I feel like that's all I can talk about non-spoilers, so spoiler alert. So Adrien Brody was in Auschwitz. He was in a concentration camp, and he gets, rescued and immigrates to Pennsylvania, and is revealed to be a well-known Hungarian architect. He gets taken in by, I believe it was his cousin, who is also from Hungary, and he has a furniture store and like furniture installation business. He gets hired there, does a job for a rich son's house to be a surprise for his rich father. He renovates the library, and the father does not take a liking to this and kicks them out and doesn't pay them for their work. So Adrien Brody is blamed by his cousin for this, unfortunate event, and is accused of hitting on his wife because she doesn't like Adrien Brody, basically. Later in the movie, that father comes back to Adrien Brody, finding out about his background in architecture, and contracts him to build a a community center. And this community center becomes an art project for Adrien Brody's character, and over the movie it just consumes him more and more. Like his wife and niece emigrate to Pennsylvania as well. It's an interesting dynamic after that, because he doesn't seem too happy that they're there. He's more consumed by this project. The movie's about so much, it's really hard to note exactly why this character changes, but by the end of it, it's clear that it's a lot of things. The movie is definitely about the hardships of immigrants in America, I guess specifically at this time, although it applies, to immigration in general. It's about art and the idea of the process of art, how much it can consume you, and whether or not that's a good thing or a bad thing. If you watch this movie, I feel like you could easily interpret it as being a bad thing. I know people have issue with the ending where it cuts to, it's an epilogue. It's not 1980s, so it's like 30 to 40 years after the start of this movie. Adrien Brody has like a museum exhibit with all this architecture, and the building in this movie is in there, and it's it kind of explains why this building meant so much to him, why it represents like a concentration camp, but the difference being high ceilings for the idea of free thought, and like connected hallways to visit his wife, which of course he didn't have in the concentration camp he was in. I could see people thinking that it's a little on the nose and explains way too much. I feel like it's an open-ended ending, because I don't know if it's the last line in the movie, but it's like the last like bombshell type thing. The person public speaking, who was speaking for Adrien Brody's nephew, I believe, said it's not the journey, it's the destination. Basically, like he put blood, sweat, and tears into this project, and it ruined relationships. It ruined his relationship with his wife, but it's presenting it as this is necessary for the art, and the art is worth it, which I don't think is not like a black and white message. It's really, you can take whatever you want from that. And also, it's not Adrien Brody saying this because he is old. He is I don't know if he was senile. He was in a wheelchair and he didn't say anything. So it might be saying the opposite of what some people are taking away from it, because people are speaking for him. He is not speaking himself, and people are taking away this grand message where really it could be seen that the destination wasn't worth the journey, which, if you ask me, this movie has a lot of disturbing plot points and places that the characters go. Specifically, Guy Pearce does a very specific action that is, I wasn't sure of what to take out of it when I first saw it, because it definitely makes the movie's message less subtle and more like a little less abstract, where a lot of this movie is quite abstract and doesn't really hold your hand through a lot of these scenes. It's just like kind of an easy way to get like a disturbing moment out of it. And which I feel like I do like that choice ultimately in the end, because it does lead to a very good scene later on. Man, just Adrien Brody is just a really tragic character who goes through a lot in this movie. He's a very flawed character, which is brought on by his circumstances and by some of his choices, but you know, that could also be circumstantial depending on how you view it. But yeah, this movie was just about so much to me, and at no point watching this did I feel like it was Oscar bait, which, you know, it seems like that on the surface. Like, it's 3.5 hours. It's a period piece with Auschwitz, you know, Holocaust undertones. It's about immigration. It's about art. That's a big thing that the Oscars love. They love movies about the process of art. But this movie is it's just so personal and unlike anything I've ever seen before. And I'd highly, highly, highly recommend it. And if this wins Best Picture, I won't be upset with that at all. Even though, you know, I feel like this movie it probably deserves Best Picture, honestly, as much as I love the substance over it. I like this more than Anora. It's probably tied with Dune 2, so it's probably my second or third favorite of the nominees. To be fair, I haven't seen Nickel Boys, I'm Still Here, and there's one other one. Oh, The Complete Unknown. I didn't see that. I heard it's not accurate to Bob Dylan, and Bob Dylan fans are annoyed with it, and the movie just looks kind of bland anyways. So like, I'm not that excited about it, and I didn't see it because I'm not all that familiar with Bob Dylan. So it's like, well, I don't really want to watch a bland movie about a guy that didn't exist, you know? But I'll watch it before the Oscars, and maybe I'll make a video on it. Oh, I didn't see Conclave either. I will see that. So Complete Unknown, Conclave, I'm Still Here, and Nickel Boys. So I've seen 6 of the 10 nominees. And The Brutalist is one of the best. So check it out. This is going to be a future classic, I feel like. I guess I'm signing off. Peace out, yo.